One day, in a small town, a local philosophy professor, famous for his unique way of teaching, visited a primary school. On the day of his visit, he walked into a classroom with a playful sparkle in his eyes. Under his arm, he carried a big, empty glass jar. The children noticed him right away. It was clear. This was not going to be a normal school day. He placed the jar on the table in front of the students. Then, from under the table, he brought out a pile of big stones, each one about the size of a fist. He carefully started putting these stones into the jar, one by one, until no more stones could fit. Then he turned to the class and asked, "Is this jar full?" The students looked at the jar. Since no more stones could be added, they nodded and said, "Yes." To their surprise, the professor took out a bag of small pebbles. He slowly poured them into the jar. He shook the jar a little, and the pebbles rolled into the empty spaces between the stones. Again, he asked, "Is the jar full now?" Some of the students began to understand the idea. They hesitated, but many still said, "Yes, now it's full." Next, the professor brought out a bag of sand. He poured the sand into the jar. The fine grains of sand slipped into the tiny spaces between the stones and the pebbles. For the third time, he asked, "Is the jar full now?" This time, the students were catching on. They replied, "Probably not." Finally, the professor took out a jug of water. He poured it into the jar. The water soaked into the sand and filled every last bit of space. Now he smiled and said, "Yes, now the jar is full." Then he looked at his students and explained, "This jar represents your life. The big stones are the important things: family, health, and friends. If you lost everything else but still had these, your life would feel full. The pebbles represent things that matter: your job, house, car. The sand is the small stuff, daily tasks and distractions. If you fill the jar with sand or pebbles first, there won't be room for the big stones. In life, if you focus too much on minor tasks, you'll miss the things that truly matter. The stones give your life meaning: spending time with loved ones, caring for your health, following your passions. Make sure the stones come first. They are your foundation: family, health, dreams. Don't let the small distractions take over your life. In the end, it's the stones that will matter the most. A student once asked, "What about the water?" The professor replied, "The water. It represents the small moments of happiness. Time for coffee with friends, rest, and connection. No matter how full your life is, there's always room for these. Focus on the stones. Even when life feels busy, make room for the things that matter: your family, health, and dreams. Take care of them, and don't forget to leave space for the little moments that bring joy." Life is not about fitting everything in, but about focusing on what truly matters. Balance your stones, pebbles, sand, and water. Let the important things lead the way. Make the days count,